Welcome back, Glycogen Cycling fans. So we're just finishing up the Cat 1-2 race, and there is a breakaway of about 7 or 8 riders, and this team has 3 riders in here. It looks like one guy's getting dropped off the back right now, so there's 7 guys, and right now we have 3 teammates in this breakaway, and one of them is just attacked off the front. And it looks like he's kind of soft pedaling a little bit. It looks like he's about to get caught. But what I'd like to see right now is to have one of his other teammates counterattack right now and put pressure on this group, because they have 3 of them in here. So they really need to put pressure on this group to make sure this does not come down to a 7-man sprint. And unfortunately, it looks like they have not counterattacked, which is a little unfortunate, because now they're letting the dropped rider back into this group. So now you have an 8-man field again. And this breakaway is definitely the winning move. So it's really coming down to a field sprint. But this team in the red and white and blue kits with the white helmets and red shoes, they really need to start making a move. And with 2 to go, it's pretty close. So they had one rider off the front, which was a good tactic. But they really need to start putting pressure on these other guys and making them chase the rider back. Because once one of their teammates go, the other 2 can just sit back and chill and save energy. So ideally, we would like to see this team win on a 1-man solo move. So thanks again for everyone who's joining. We have another fun night of streaming. We had an excellent turnout last night. I wasn't planning on doing this tonight, but you know what? The people demanded that I come back and stream the races tonight. So we're here, we're streaming. We're going to show both the pro women's and pro men's race, as well as finishing up this Cat 1-2 race. And it's going to be another good time. Hopefully we can have another great turnout for day 2 of Tulsa Tough. So this race is just finishing up, but once we get started on the pro women's and pro men's, I have some insider information from the riders. A couple riders one rider from the women's race and one rider from the men's race on how they're feeling after the first day. So it looks like they have 1 lap left. It looks like this group has narrowed down a little bit, but they also are not interested in working with each other. So this rider on the front here, they really don't want to do any work for him, because he has 2 teammates in the back. But it looks like they understand that this is, if they're going to have it be a 3-man podium break, then the chase group has to catch them in order for that to happen. Welcome everyone who's joining. Hopefully you are all having a great day. Again, looks like great weather in Tulsa. This is the last lap, I believe. And this is the podium right here. So let's see who can pull this off. It looks like they're kind of looking around at each other, saying who's going to be. The race might be over. Potentially. I thought they didn't finish it yet. Yeah, it looks like they're just playing games a little bit. I almost thought the race was over, but yeah, they're just coming up on the final sprint right now, and Let's see if this guy can hold it off. I'm calling the guy in the green helmet. He's been looking strong. Oh. No, he sat up. Looks like he got third. So good race right there. So a win on a breakaway. The field sat up. So these guys were out front for probably the last 10, 15, 20 laps. And, you know, they held it the whole time. Oh, it looks like we have a crash into the wall. Let's look, see what happened here. That's just a replay of the sprint. Yep. Looks like guy in the green got second, and Jeffrey May. Congrats to Jeffrey May for the victory of the Cat 1-2 Tulsa Tough Day 2. So for those of you who are just joining, we have a new course today. It's a little L-shape course, and the roads are definitely a little bit more narrow than they were for yesterday. There's definitely some tight sections which are going to be selective, because you can't go super wide through there, and it's going to string out a good amount. Based on last night, they were flying. I believe we had Justin's power numbers, and I believe he held 450 watts for about 25 minutes. So that's kind of what that first part of the race was like. I mean, he was off the front a good bit, but that's a crazy amount of watts. So we got the pro women's race starting in about 10 minutes or so, 10, 15 minutes. By the time they do their call-ups, it'll probably be about 6 o'clock they get started. So 7 o'clock Eastern is my guess. So we have a little bit of time. Take a breather, get some popcorn before this race gets started here. So in the meantime, we can show the results from last year. So again, we had yesterday Skylar Schneider on Legion was the winner, and it looks like she finished 4th in 2019. I keep saying last year's race, but last time they had this race, which was 2019, because last year they did not have the race due to the lockdowns and such. So Legion is definitely the team to watch out for starting up here in probably about 15 or 20 minutes will be the start of this race. So again, if you're just joining us, we have the results up from last year. So hopefully we are able to get through tonight without any technical difficulties. It looks like on their site they reduced the image quality. So before they had a 1080p full high def stream, but now they've reduced it to 720 to hopefully increase their bandwidth a little bit in case they have, you know, another blowout night like yesterday with just a ton of people watching. So hopefully that fixes the issue and we don't have any technical issues later on tonight, and we can actually watch the whole men's race, which is, I believe, 80 minutes tonight. So let me double check this for you guys. Yep, so the pro women are racing for 50 minutes, and we have the pro men racing for 80 minutes. So 20 minutes longer than yesterday's race for the men. I can't remember if the women raced for 40 minutes or 50 minutes yesterday, but either way, they're fairly similar time length of race as yesterday for the women. So I reached out to Celine on Wolfpack, who raced the women's pro race yesterday, and I asked her just her general thoughts on the race, how everything was feeling. You know, was it quick? Was it slow? And she was saying it was kind of a mess because the course yesterday was fast, but it wasn't selective. So, you know, super wide open. You don't need very much technical skills to stay onto the field. You kind of just need a draft. And, you know, there's not any super big hills that someone can power away on. So that's what she means by selective. And she said the goal of the team was to just stay safe, ride towards the front, and be aggressive, which, based on what I was seeing yesterday, looks like they were doing. They were gotten a couple breakaways and rode fairly well. They started out really good, and then the end they kind of faltered a little bit, but they need to, you know, it's a learning experience for today's race. And then she said they just wanted to stay at the front, regardless if they had to burn a couple matches to be there, just to be with every move. And then she said about halfway through the race, she had a tidal wave of bodies come at her from the inside of a corner. And she said she got whacked by someone crashing or something. But luckily she was able to stay upright and was just decided to ride towards the front for the rest because she didn't want to crash out. She said people were being unbelievably dangerous for no reason. So it sounds like, and there was a couple big crashes in the women's race. It definitely sounds like everyone has that first race jitters going on, because there were a couple races or a couple crashes, and based on what she was saying, people were just being aggressive and not riding smart, to say the least. So hopefully everyone has those jitters out for tonight, and we can have a good, clean race. And it looks like this course is a little bit more selective. So if we head back to the course map, there are some tight sections in this course. And we're going to have a better idea. This course map doesn't have the start finish line on it, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly where that's at. But we can determine that once this race starts up in a few minutes here. But this course is definitely a little bit tighter. It's going to be a little bit better for a breakaway, as we saw with the men 1-2 and the race that just finished. So hopefully we can have somebody put more pressure on Legion, is what I'd like to see. I think they've proven now that nobody's going to really beat them in a sprint if you just let them ride their tempo the whole race and just ride their race. So we really need attacks going and putting pressure on Legion. That is the only way that you're going to beat them. They are too good at sprinting. They are too good, and unfortunately, the only way you're going to be able to beat them is if you put pressure on and start whittling down their lead out train. If you can, hopefully get a breakaway going and win from a breakaway, but at the very least, you need to start hurting their lead out train. So instead of having 5 full guys at the last couple laps, we need to have 2 or 3 and not give Justin Williams such a big lead out train, because he already has a massive sprint. So you need to take away his advantage as much as you can, because unfortunately you're not going to beat him with his entire lead out. It's just not going to happen. And he won this race. We'll go to the men's results while we're waiting for the women's race to start. So he won this course last year, or 29. I keep saying last year, but you know what I mean, 2019. So, he definitely has experience on this course. He knows how to win it. So we got to be. They got to switch it up. They have to switch it up if they want to have a chance against Legion. They can't just let it come down to a field sprint every time. It's not going to work. That's just the name of the game. So we're going to have the women's race starting up in just a few minutes here. They're going to do some call-ups, and then we're going to get racing underway. It'll probably be closer to 7 Eastern, 6 o'clock, the time they actually blow that whistle and start racing here. And this is again, 50-minute race. And it looks like they are just about to start the call-ups and get this race underway. So thanks everyone who has joined. We had a great turnout last night, so I decided, what the heck, let's do it again, watch some bike racing. And yeah, we're going to have a good time. As always, leave your questions in the chat, and I will be sure to look out for them. I got them right over here on my other monitor, so I'm monitoring the whole feed, and if you have any chats, let me know, and I'll be sure to answer your questions. So again, the rider to watch again is going to be Legion for the women's race as well. Skylar Schneider, who won last night, is definitely the favorite for tonight as well. Now she only has one teammate, so there's not going to be a giant lead out, and I believe she's beatable. So let's hope we have a cleaner race than we did yesterday for the women. So it looks like we got the media. Oh, it looks like the call-ups are starting now. We got Danielle Mooreshead from LA Sweat. It looks like she has 16. Yeah, that's 16 Omnium points. You know, I was looking for the results from yesterday, but I couldn't find them on the website. It didn't look like they were available for whatever reason, but I was really hoping we could pull that up and kind of get the rundown of who to look out for. But if anyone has a link to the results from yesterday, let me know in the chat, and I can pull that up and we can talk, see who to watch. So it looks like they're going over top 5 from yesterday, I believe. We'll see. So again, for those of you who are just joining, we have a new course today. It's an L-shaped course. Roads are a little bit tighter than they were yesterday, so it's going to be a little bit more selective, a little bit more technical skills needed to stay with this field. So that's definitely going to be something to watch out for tonight. So it looks like they're doing top 10. And we'll know if I'm right if the last person they call up is Skylar Schneider. She should have 25 Omnium points. So these are definitely the riders to watch out for. The girls in the white on Lux were in a couple moves yesterday. Wolfpack was in a move. Can't remember on the other, but other couple women there. But I guess they went up. Okay. So I'm guessing the winner gets 30 Omnium points. Second gets 27. So we should be getting this race started in just a couple minutes here. And they're racing for 50 minutes. So I'm guessing the reason she has 31, there may have been a preem lap where there was an extra point, because 31 seems like an odd number. So I bet you there was 30 points for the win, and then an extra point she got for winning a preem Omnium point lap. So that's why she has 31. So for those of you who are just joining us, I reached out to Celine on Wolfpack, and she was in a move early on, and I just reached out to see how the race was, and she said it was, to sum it up, it was pretty dangerous. Everyone had those, first race jitters, and there was a lot of crashes going on. She said yesterday's course wasn't selective enough, so you didn't have to really have any technical skills really to stay with the field. So here we go, we're starting off. And she also said she almost got caught up in a race, or a crash, I should say. She had a tidal wave of bodies, to quote her, come at her from the inside midway through the race, and luckily she was able to keep it upright. So it was definitely pretty aggressive racing, a little dangerous, but hopefully everyone has gotten those pre-race jitters out, and we can have some clean bike racing on this Saturday evening. So it is currently 93 degrees in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the real feel feels like 103. So a hot day in Tulsa, and that's definitely going to be a factor for these riders, because that is not ideal weather to be racing in. When you're going max out, you don't want... and it looks like there's already splits in the field, so that is something to watch out for. When you're starting off in the back and it's full gas, and just one person loses that wheel and lets that gap open, and then one person doesn't close it, that whole second half of the field can just be wiped out. So you definitely have to keep your head up at the start of a race and make sure everyone's holding their wheel, or holding the wheel in front of them, because if you get caught behind one of those splits, it's very, very difficult to make it back to the front of the race. So again, we have some awesome drone shots of this entire field, and there's a lot of people racing. A lot of people racing. So far it looks like nobody's really making any early moves. They had a quick first lap, but now they're kind of sitting up a little bit, and kind of just feeling it out. This part right here under the Red Bull banner is probably the tightest section of the course, so that's going to be something to watch out for. We have one woman on the left-hand side tightening her shoes, so it's definitely, the pace is slow, and you can tell just by how wide it is. And that was one of the complaints from Celine yesterday, is just the course wasn't selective enough, and when that happens, it gets super wide, and it can be dangerous if that happens, because you have more likelihood of someone overlapping wheels, someone coming up too fast from behind. So sometimes it's safer to have a really, really fast race. So welcome everyone who has joined. The women's race just started 4 minutes and 45 seconds ago, and they are racing for 50 minutes. And so far we have no attacks have gone up the road. Looks like teammates are kind of staying towards each other a little bit more today. It looked like those Lux riders were all together. And that just may be a safety thing. You know, sometimes you want to hold a wheel that you know. You don't want anyone going off the front too quickly, or you know, bumping into you or whatever. So sometimes see like these girls in the pink with the envy around their arm. They're all sticking together. So okay, so now we have the first attack going. Oh, looks like a little fake attack to test the legs and see who is going to respond to that. So one trick you can do, see these women in the pink, and let's see if they actually do this. So sometimes you'll have your teammates all in the front row, and you'll let the first one just go, and the three behind in this instance will kind of just slowly soft pedal and just let a gap go. So their teammate can get a gap on the field without having to really put in a hard sprint, and that'll kind of save your legs a little bit, so you can just, you know, sit at threshold. You don't have to go, you know, neuromuscular power in order to break that sling, you know, that rubber band. So it doesn't look like they were doing that now, but that is definitely a tactic that you can use to give your teammate a free breakaway without much effort. Shout out to Luke. He said that's Legion sitting second wheel in the leader's jersey. Yep. I believe that's... So is that the rainbow-ish colored jersey? So it looks like the pace is picking up a little bit here. Let's see if we have any... Okay, so it looks like someone's making a move on the right-hand side of the road. They have a little bit of a gap going. But again, this is just a solo rider. And so far, we haven't been able to have any solo... or at least substantial solo breaks. Rainbow is LA Sweat. Okay, I'm going to have to look out for this leader jersey. I'm not 100% sure what it looks like, but maybe when they have the ground level camera, we can pick it out. Because I believe Skylar Schneider should be in the leader's jersey. She has 31 Omnium points. She won yesterday. She is definitely the favorite for today. So based on Celine's comments, she said they wanted to just ride towards the front, and so far it looks I've seen maybe 3 or 4 of their riders all up in that front row. So that is definitely the place they wanted to be. And it looks like they are right about there. Luke says the leaders is like a funky tie-dye as well, though, so that's fun. Yeah. Oh, I see. So second wheel right now, if you're looking at the screen, her left shoulder is yellow and the right is blue. So that is the leader jersey. The chest area is pink. So that's Skylar Schneider right there. And the white Specialized bike right in the middle of the screen right now, talking to her teammate. So we're just about 10 minutes into this race. And so far, there's been no substantial attacks. It looks like everyone's kind of just fine with getting a little bit of this race through before the big attacks are thrown. And I definitely think there are some teams that want a breakaway based on yesterday's sprint. Okay, it looks like someone's putting in a move right here around the corner. Doesn't look like she got a gap, but we'll see when the camera angle changes. Yep, so they're really picking up the pace now. They're really strung out. Couple attacks going, but it looks like they weren't letting anything go at the moment. So now they're kind of bunching up again. So that's kind of what happens. You have attack going, it gets really, really fast, and then it kind of gets caught and then bunches up a little bit. And then if you have counterattacks, that's when you should go, is right when you're able to use that slingshot as everything gets pulled back. So you can use your momentum while everyone else is on the brakes a little bit. So this Insta Fun team, this rider on the front right now, they look like they've been a little bit aggressive here. I think they want to get a move and get this race started a little bit because they've definitely put in a few moves and they want to get this race going. They're not content with it just, riding around at 23 miles an hour. Oh, look at that cute baby. So, in my opinion, this is probably the most selective part of the course. It looks like there's a little bit of an uphill, and then I believe this turns into that tight section with the Red Bull banner. So, to me, that's if you're going to make a move, where you should do it. That's where you can string it out, and then it's not a wide open road right away, so you can get a little bit of a gap, and then it looks like this is a downhill section or at least a false flat downhill. So that's when you can really pick up the pace. So they're definitely moving. It's been looks like it's been a safer race this time. There's not too many people, running into each other, at least from what I can tell, or people swinging out super wide on corners to avoid things happening. So hopefully we can keep this race going like this. They are going at a good pace right now, but nobody's really made any substantial attack so far. So we got Wolfpack riding on the front. I believe that is Celine on the right-hand side of your screen in the dark blue color. As we roll into 15 minutes into this race. So I could be wrong, but I believe I saw 2 normal Legion jerseys. So potentially they have 3 riders in this race. As we know, Schneider is in the rainbow-ish leader's jersey. So we definitely have a Legion rider right there on the left-hand side. And it looks like a breakaway is just, yep. And so I definitely saw a second Legion, a regular Legion jersey. So there's definitely 3 of them in this race. And I believe yesterday only had 2, but I could be mistaken. And thanks for everyone who's joining. We have 33 viewers right now, so that's awesome. If anyone has the link to yesterday's results, I would love to have that. I was looking earlier today, but it doesn't seem like they were updated. So if anyone has yesterday's results, that would be a great asset for me for the stream. Yep, so far it looks like this has been the spot to make a move, and it's a little uphill section into this tighter Red Bull banner straightaway, and that seems like the selective spot. So if you can get a little bit of a gap through that little bend and then have this false flat downhill, I think that'll be the spot to make a move. So Luke, I did check your first 2 texts, and I'm pretty sure I answered them properly. The rainbow, so there is a rainbow like tie-dye colored team, which is LA Sweat. So let me see if I Yes, they're not on the team's list. So we have this InstaFund rider again, riding on the front. It really looks like she wants to make something happen, but she needs to fall back and attack if she wants. She can't just ride him off her wheel. I don't think that's a great strategy, unless she's just trying to keep the race hot for one of her teammates is potential strategy. So I wanted to time this lap. I was a little bit slow to get my app open. So it looks like we have a rider that has a little bit of a gap, but seems like she's going to be pulled back very shortly. All right, we have a Legion rider that is bridging up to this move. So let's see if this may be the point where something can get established here if they can put the pace on up this little uphill section. It kind of looks like she's just sitting on. So I'm getting some insider information. So there are three there are three Legion riders today. There's Kendall, Skylar, who won yesterday, and July's Aguila Hernandez of Juarez, Mexico, is their third rider for today. Okay, awesome. I got the... So let's see. I have the results from yesterday. Let's see if I can... I'm going to build another page while this is going on. So bear with me for a second. So again, it looks like this Team in the pink is kind of wanting to control the race. They've been towards the front this entire time. Looks like 4 of them. Shout out to Elvia Harrow for joining in. He says, Maria and I are checking in. She liked it last night. Well, good to know. Thanks for supporting the channel. Let's see. I'm trying to pull up yesterday's results for you guys. So looks like this is a replay from yesterday. It looks like they're getting a move, or this, I guess this is all just replays. So I believe this was the crash that Celine kind of got caught up in. She was on the outside and almost got knocked out, but she was able to keep it upright. So kudos to her for some awesome bike handling skills. All right, I can't pull up the actual web page, so we're just going to have to show an image, which is fine. But no worries. I'm just talking to myself so I can set this up, but I also want to give you commentary. But again, like I've been saying, this is the selective part of the race right here with this little uphill section. If anyone's going to make a move, it probably should be into that turn, coming into that little uphill, and then hammering it up that uphill. And then once you make that left-hand turn, it's not a narrow road, but it's more narrow than all of these other roads that they're on. It looks like we have a Lux rider that has gotten a decent-sized gap. And I believe those 2 other riders were dropped and about to get lapped. So let's see. Not really sure what we got going on now. We got some group ride. Some group ride warriors. All right, back to racing. It looks like everything's back together as we're just crossing 30 minutes into this race, of this 50-minute race. So we have 20 minutes to go. And while that's going, it looks like we still have this Lux Rider off the front at the moment. Well, let's take a look at the results from yesterday. So we had Legion with the win, Skylar Schneider. DNA Pro Cycling Team, Maggie Coles Leister. I'm going to butcher these names. And then we also had Kendall Ryan of Legion in third. And then we had that InstaFund rider, Harriet Owen, which I bet is that rider that's been a little bit aggressive. And then we had two Lux riders in 5th and 6th. So, and another DNA Pro in 7th. We had Wolfpack in 8th, InstaFun in 9th, and LA Sweat in 10th. So those are the teams to kind of look out for. Legion is, as you know, the leader. Skylar has kind of a rainbow jersey. The right armband is yellow, I believe, or maybe it's the left. I don't know. And it looks like everything's getting pulled back here. So these are the teams to look out for. And let's see if we can hopefully get some sort of breakaway established. That's always fun to see the team dynamics and pulling back a break. But from the looks of it, Legion wants this to come down to a sprint. They've been pulling everything back and kind of just sitting on. So they'll bridge up to a move and just sit on it until it gets pulled back. And obviously one rider is not going to want to pull them around. Whoops. Yikes. All right, there we go. So yeah, so hopefully we can get through today without any more technical difficulties. Obviously, last night we had an issue at the end of the men's race. And so far it looks like the change they made was they took out the high definition stream. So hopefully that increases their bandwidth a little bit and we can get through day 2 without any hiccups. Shout out to John. Thanks for joining, dude. He says day 2. Hope we stay connected. Yep, agreed, as I just mentioned. Let's see. Trying to make this a little bit smaller so I can see what's going on. All right, there we go. So again, this whole race has just kind of been together. John's asking for predictions. I'm calling Legion again. So far, they've basically controlled this race. I believe Kendall is her name, has just been pulling everything back. So I believe they really want this to come down to a field sprint. And most likely that's what's going to happen. And I think Skylar is probably the best sprinter here. And she's just been sticking towards the front the whole time, kind of just staying out of trouble. But as I've mentioned, it's a hot day out there. It's 93 degrees. Actually, it's 94 now, but it feels like 104. So you can see staying hydrated is going to be crucial. There's people dumping water on themselves, drinking water. So that is really important to do. And that even more so in the men's race because it's 80 minutes long. So you definitely need to stay hydrated and fuel a little bit differently than you had to yesterday with the shorter 60-minute race. So again, everything is very controlled. You can see the leader right in the middle of your screen with the yellow left-hand band. Oh, this is a good shot of the LA Sweat. So that's the LA Sweat rainbow. And it looks like Wolfpack is right there on their wheel. So let's see if we can get something established here. So we have LA Sweat on the right-hand side, but that rainbowish color on the left-hand side of your screen right now with the yellow left-hand armband and the right blue, that is the leader jersey. So that is the rider to look out for. And this corner is probably the one to watch. So it's pretty tight. They have pads up on the fence there. Okay, so I'm getting a text that the pink jerseys is DNA Pro Cycling. So they have a rider that's in second place right now with 27 points, and the leader has 31. So, you know, it's still close in the Omnium. So that is why that DNA team with the envy on their armband has been towards the front this entire race, just trying to keep their rider Maggie Coles-Leister safe and out of trouble, out of crashes, because she needs to be up and try to beat Skylar Schneider today so she can take some points back in the overall Omnium. So that is for anyone who's new to bike racing. There's basically 4 different races going on. You have the stage each day, but you also have the overall winner. So based on where you finish each day, you can get points, and whoever has the most points at the end of day 3 wins Tulsa Tough. But you also have a winner on each day. So that is what the leader jersey means. Whoever has the most Omnium points is the overall leader currently. And I believe there is a points preem lap. So whoever finished a lap, first, it may be, I don't know, because the leader has 31 points. So I'm assuming they gave out an extra point somewhere that she picked up. So it may have been, usually they do like 3, 2, 1. Whoever gets third or whoever wins the lap gets 3 points. Second place gets 2. Third place gets 1. So she may have came third on a preem lap at some point. And this, she's making a move right here. So maybe she's picking up an extra point preem. Because there's no other reason why she would be making a move. Well, this is LA Sweat. Never mind. I was thinking that was Schneider. Those jerseys are getting me mixed up, I swear. They're very, very similar. So we're just rolling in over 40 minutes into this race. We have 10 minutes to go. I lost my mouse for a second. So not really any very threatening moves into this race. Everything has pretty much been together. There's been a couple riders that have gone off the front, but it's pretty much gotten pulled back within a half lap. Nothing's really gone more than a lap off the front. So my prediction is this is going to be another field sprint. So we're going to see, the last couple laps are going to be very, very hot. But again, like yesterday, this race has definitely been faster than yesterday from the looks of it. So the sprinters didn't get to rest as much today. Yesterday, the last 10 laps just seemed very, very slow. So anyone who was a sprinter yesterday was just licking their lips because they didn't have to do any work really. So far, Legion has done a good job to control this race. Any move that was somewhat threatening, they pretty much pulled back right away. But we have to remember here, Legion has 2 riders in the top 3, so they really have a couple options. So they really want to keep both those riders fresh, which is, I'm assuming, why they introduced a third rider to the situation to kind of help them out a little bit, and maybe they could go and just keep them both their options open, to say the least. So Eric is telling me to put the volume on lightly. So we can try that for a little bit and see if it's distracting at all.
Arts District, FC Tulsa, Oklahoma's premier professional soccer club. I was corrected. It was the Tulsa Roughnecks that it was previously called.
So we can have Frankie on for give some of his insights, because he's getting more information than I am. So So we're just almost done with this. I'm surprised they haven't put the lap counter up yet, because we have about 6 minutes left in this race. My guess is about 4 laps to go, 4 or 5 laps to go. Oh, okay. So I'm hearing from Frankie that first place does get 31 points, which seems a little bit odd to me. Why would you do 31? I don't know. So let's see what. Okay, here we go. 6 laps to go. DNA Pro Cycling has been looking strong all race. They've been, their whole team up front, and it doesn't seem like they've had to do much work responding to moves. Oh, looks like we had a crash in the corner there. Looks like she'll be all right, but she's not going to have any free laps anymore. I mean, this race is she's gonna have to chase. So right now, that's basically her race is done for today. She can reset for tomorrow. So looks like DNA Pro Cycling is kind of just keeping this rate, these last couple laps, a little bit fast. They don't want any riders getting a little bit frisky and trying to get off the front. So they just want to keep the pace a little bit quick to discourage anyone from trying to do a last 5-lap flyer. So looks like everyone's looking around a little bit. Looks like we have CWA Trek in the blue and white, I believe. They're a local team out of Naples here. Naples, Florida. Okay, it looks like we have someone attacking. Okay, so that was a preem lap, and that is why they're making a move off the front. It looks like CWA Trek was able to pick that up. I don't know exactly who that rider is, but able to walk away with something. Welcome everyone who's just joining. So anyone who's just here, I reached out to Celine, who's on Wolfpack. I know I mentioned this a couple times, anyone who's been here for a while, but reached out to her just to see how yesterday's race went, and she said, to sum it up, it was very, everyone had a lot of jitters. There was aggressive and just dangerous riding, like unnecessarily, and she almost got caught up in a crash, was able to keep it upright, but by the looks of it, this race has been a lot more clean. There's been one crash so far, but for the majority of the race, it's been very clean. So everyone got their jitters out, and we're able to race a little bit better and cleaner today. So that lap counter is definitely wrong. I believe we're on 3 to go, or coming into 3 to go. We'll see what they say when they come around here. Okay, so it's 5 to go. So they had that lap counter up a little bit too soon, but that's all right. So 5 laps to go. That should be over in 6 minutes, give or take 6 or 7 minutes for the finish here. So the teams to watch for the finish coming up soon are Legion, which are in the darker blue color, but we also have the leader jersey who's in a slightly rainbow color. You can see she's on the right-hand side of the screen right now with the yellow armband and the blue armband. And we have DNA Pro Cycling in the pink. We have InstaFund, who finished 4th. They're in a slightly darker blue as well. You can see her right just behind Skylar Schneider in the yellow and blue leaders jersey. And then we have Lux. So they're in the white with the red Lux logo. So those are the teams to watch for the sprint coming up. I've seen them all up here. DNA by far has been the most represented. Look, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 riders all in the front here, just keeping their teammate Maggie safe, who's now in 2nd place overall as we come into 4 laps to go. And I see Celine right there, 3rd wheel. She said she wanted to stay up towards the front because she just wanted to keep safe. So let's see if she can make something happen as well for her teammate who finished 8th yesterday, Summer. Let's see if they can move her up a couple spots in the Omnium. So here we go, coming into 3 laps to go. The pace is starting to pick up a little bit. But let's see if they can keep this pace going for the last 3 laps here. What I want to see is I don't want DNA to just blow a load with 3 laps to go. They're right on the front right now by the looks of it, but I really want them to sit back a little bit and kind of save some of their riders. It looks like they only have 4 riders, and one of them's their team leader. So, three riders doesn't seem like enough to me to make it those last 3 laps, especially when everyone's going to make them do all the work. So I'd really like them to just chill for another lap and be able to come into that last sprint with at least 2 riders in front of their leader, Maggie. Skylar Schneider for sure is the favorite to win this, but by the looks of it, DNA has been riding really, really well. So hopefully they can keep some of their lead out train fresh and give their teammate the best lead out possible to try to beat Skylar in this sprint. So here we are coming into 2 laps to go. And this is when the pace is going to start to pick up a good amount. Again, I would let one of these Lux riders come up to the front, or even let one of the Legion riders. I don't want them to burn out all of their riders before this last lap, because it's going to be quick and they're going to need all the horsepower they can get. So let me know quick what your predictions are for the finish. I'm going to go out and pick the underdog and say this DNA Pro Cycling rider Maggie is going to win. Oh my gosh, we have a bad crash. Wow. That wasn't good. She definitely hit her head pretty hard right there. Let's see what happened. So definitely just a rub of wheels. Someone hit her in the head, which is not ideal. So that wasn't fun. Looks like everyone's up and okay, which is good. They're going to have some road rash for sure, but okay, let's see the... Yep, so just a rub of wheels right there. This is what happens when you get tired a little bit. You're trying to draft a little bit too close to that rider in front of you, and that's when mistakes happen. That's why your fitness is so important these last couple laps. You got to keep focused. If you lose focus for 1 second, crashes happen. So it's definitely strung out right now. There's definitely major gaps in this field. We have the DNA Pro Cycling team on the front with 2 riders still in front of their leader. Hopefully they can hold this till the end. She needs at least 1 rider in front of her for the lead out. I'm hoping they can make it this whole lap. It looks like she's... I'm assuming their team leader just went in front for some reason. Maybe she was saying it wasn't quick enough for her liking. Let's see what happens here. So this is definitely the selective part of the course with that uphill. And this field just blew apart this last lap. There's a major gap. Unfortunately, DNA only has 1 rider, and that is a long way to go. Oh my gosh. We have Skylar Schneider in 3rd wheel, and we have the DNA Pro Cycling rider coming in that turn really, really quick. Oh my. She crashed out, it looks like. Oh my, she took that turn way too quick and crashed out into the fence. Wow, okay, so it looks like Kendall Ryan, who was 3rd in the Omnium, ended up winning. And it looks like Skylar Schneider got 3rd. But wow, oh my God, that is so bad. That DNA Pro Cycling rider just took that turn way too hot. And looks like she crashed out into the fence. Oh, it looks like Skylar Schneider got 2nd. So they went 1-2. So that was just another rub of wheels. And so it did take out another rider. Wow. Man, that was a bad crash. But it looks like DNA Pro Cycling Maggie hit the fence or something. Hopefully they have a shot of that, maybe. Wow. So that was a crazy last lap with multiple crashes. Definitely getting aggressive. She bumped into Kendall Ryan a little bit and kind of just lost her balance. And then it looks like Maggie's in second wheel right now, but she came out of this turn, the last turn of the course, just way too quick, and it looks like she went into the fence almost. So that's going to really hurt her chances. She was second overall in the Omnium. That is very unfortunate, and hopefully everyone is okay, because she's definitely upset with what just happened. Heartbreaking for sure. So shout out to Octavia for joining again. Always active in the chats. El Viajero says Legion is on fire. Yep, they are. They, I believe, are going to be 1-2 in the Omnium right now, especially since DNA Pro Cycling got almost 0 points, I believe, today. Shout out to Aaron. He says, wow, so sorry to see that. Yep, agreed. Shout out to Shmee. Says, this is insane. Agreed. I mean, that was, I was saying it all this whole stream so far. Celine really called this out, that it was just, people were being dangerous. They were just riding very dangerously. And, this whole race, we had a very clean race. But unfortunately, this last lap, very, just terrible. So I don't know what happened. I was hoping they had a last corner review. So yeah, it looks like she kind of lost her balance and was going one direction. And Kendall Ryan was just like, no, this is my area, which it's her line. That DNA Pro Cycling rider just came into her. So, wow, that was a crazy last lap. Wow. Yeah, that was a crazy crash, but I really want to see what happened on that last corner, because we had Maggie, this girl in pink right here, lead it out into that last turn and just took it way too hot. She got very excited with all the carnage going on behind her, adrenaline pumping through her system. Honestly, she should have waited and just sat on Legion's wheel, let them lead it through and just jump around them. Because it's still a long straightaway to the finish. Wow, okay. Octavia says, yeah, she hit the fence. She tried to lean into Kendall, and Kendall wasn't having it. No, I mean, Kendall did the right thing. Like, she's just got to protect. Like, you can't just have someone bump into you and move you off your line. You don't know really who's to your right. So she was just holding her position, really. So there was nothing she did wrong there. But, the fence, Maggie went into the fence on that last turn. We don't really have a shot of that, but I saw her go into that turn. I'm like, wow, that is way too quick. And I didn't see her come out after that. So looks like she just went right into the fence. Whew. DNA was leaving all the DNA on the ground today. I mean, they were riding great all race long. They were controlling it, always at the front. I think they went to the front and pushed the pace a little bit too soon. I'd like them to wait another lap or two to have a couple extra riders. Because if they had one extra rider there and had two in front of their team leader Maggie, I think that last lap would have been a little bit different. Shout out to Dale. What's up, Dale? He says, not gonna lie, that ending was crazy. Agreed, not expected. El Viejero has two female riders at Tulsa. Legion actually has three. They according to my sources, they have Skylar Schneider, Kendall Ryan, which is the two that were on the first Friday night, and they also have a third rider from Juarez, Mexico, Aguila Hernandez, joining them. Octavia says, this, my friends, is why I don't do any cycle races, because I can imagine they're not going to be able to work on Monday and maybe Tuesday. There's been plenty of times when I've gone to work with bandages under my work shirt, bandages under my work pants, and kind of just limping through the day, just trying to stay at my desk as long as possible and not get road rash stuck to my pants. Not fun. But somehow you make it work. So I'm going to take a short break while this plays, and I will be back shortly. So while they do call-ups for the men, So here we are with the results from yesterday's race. As you saw, or actually we didn't see because the stream went out. So hopefully today we don't have any issues. But we had Legion go 1-2 with Justin and Corey. And we had Daniel Estevez of Best Buddies in third. We had another Legion rider in fourth. And then we had a couple Elevate Pro Cycling riders, Sam Bassetti and Eric Young. Eric Young is actually a former Little 500 rider on Team Cutters. So he's someone to look out for. Travis McCabe, as always. I'd like to see him move up a little bit tonight. There was a lot of smack talking going on, so we really need to see him making a move. Thomas Gibbons of Automatic Racing in 8th, Jake McGee in 9th, and Connor Saley of Butcher Box in 10th. Best Buddies has got to do some work tonight. And really what we need is, or I'll go back to the full screen here. I really need to see teams do something. They need to switch up the strategy. They can't just let everything come down and let Legion ride their tempo the whole race and then let it come down to their lead out and then sprinting against them. They've proven over and over and over that they are the best at that. So I'd really like for some team or multiple teams to switch it up and try to put the pressure on. Whether they whether they take out their lead out completely, but they just need to start, knocking down a couple of their guys. They can't have a full 6-guy lead out for the last 5 laps. They need to take it down to 3 or 2 and put the pressure on Justin Williams and Corey to actually do some work themselves versus their teammates always taking the pressure. I know it's easier said than done, but I'd really like for some team to change up the strategy a little bit. So let's see what the comments. Shout out to Lisa. Shout out to JW from Sweden. What's up? How's it going? Chase says, go Travis. LV Harrell says he's cheering for Travis too, and he's a local. Now he lives in Florida, and he seems like a decent dude. Luke says, go Tom. Orange and blue. Shout out to Jed. What's up? All right, so here we go. It's going to be a quick start. Again, there's a ton of riders starting this race. And we are off for an 80-minute criterium in the hot state or city of Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm just refreshing the weather here, and there is a heat advisory still. It's 92 degrees there. Feels like 102. It is a hot, hot day in Tulsa with very little wind. It's coming out of the northeast at 3 miles per hour with gusts up to 5 miles per hour. So wind is not going to be a factor here tonight. But the heat definitely will be. So let's see what happens. So yesterday I had a little insider information from Justin Boldy. So we saw him early on off the front of the race. A couple times he was off the front. And it looks like we have a move going right now. So we'll see who that is in a few moments here. But I made a post earlier that Justin had an issue with his bike. He got a flat and he went to the pit, and apparently the people in the pit were like, nope, doesn't look flat to us, and he was forced to chase at that point. And so he chased, and then he went around a corner and his tire like popped up. I guess he's using a tubeless. So, when that loses pressure, you have nothing holding that on. And it looks like Travis McCabe was going off the front right now. Justin Boldy is sitting there in that second group, about sixth wheel right now. 2 wheels in front of Justin Williams. Justin got his bike fixed and is back at it today, but yesterday he only was able to do about 25 minutes of the race. And from a picture I saw, let's see, he did about 450 watts for 25 minutes. So he weighs about 82 kilograms. So that is about 5.5 watts per kilo for 25 minutes. So just to put in perspective how fast you have to be to hang with these guys. Now, he was going off the front solo a couple times, so, take that into consideration. But 5.5 watts per kilo to ride off the front solo in a USA crit. So I'm really excited to see how he does tonight. Hopefully he doesn't have any more mechanical issues and he can do a better, get into breakaway and make something happen for himself. Octavia says their teammates are super strong, though, and seems like they don't mind doing the dirty work for Justin and Corey. I mean, that's what they're paid to do. So, Legion is set up like a professional team. This is your job. This is your job. This is your job. And everyone does their job. If they don't do their job, then, it's not going to look good for their chances to be on the team for next year, or they have some benefit cut out, or they don't go to a certain race. So everyone has a job on the team, and when you get to this high level, you need that in order to win. And they have it down to a science, really. They know exactly what to do. Again, right now we have their tempo maker right on the front right now, just setting the pace, riding at FTP or just below FTP, and just keeping the race quick enough where it discourages people to attack. And if they do attack, then they just slightly ramp it up and pull it back. It's pretty much just textbook Team Sky. And they just kind of switch it up a little bit for crits. So it looks like we have Justin Boldy right in the front, getting kind of squished right there. Shout out to David. He says, ouch. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it looks a little bit more controlled than yesterday. Yesterday's start was blazing fast. But today, it kind of looks like they're setting out on a reasonable pace where it's not completely single file. Again, we still have a insanely long group of riders, but they're a lot more bunched up than they were yesterday. And this, for anyone who's just joining, that stretch that we just crossed over, that little uphill section, is probably going to be the selective point in the race. There's a little bit of uphill, and they make a left-hand turn into a tighter section of road. So if you wanted to have a breakaway, that's probably the spot to do it. It's probably the spot to make your move and attack. Because just it's really the only selective part of the course. Oh, so it looks like we had a punch going on between Justin Williams. It looks like Justin threw a punch, but someone definitely said something to him that he did not like. So there's definitely heat going on. It looks like Justin Williams is just shaking his head right now. So he definitely was not happy with what was said to him. And from the sound of it, it sounds like that was Eric Young saying something to Justin Williams. Maybe he was upset with the way he's riding, but it looks like we have a Best Buddies rider making a move off the front. And this looks like a promising attack. Nobody's... Okay, so we have someone jumping with him right now. So let's see. Let's see who these two riders are. It looks like we have Travis McCabe making a move with Best Buddies. I'm gonna like to see what Justin Boldy does here. I'd like to see him get up with these guys because this is a promising move with two strong riders. But again, we're early into this race, but these guys can hold this pace for a long time. But again, Legion is kind of just slowly ramping it up, pulling these guys back, and it looks like they're about to get caught. It could be a little camera trick, but it doesn't look like they have more than 4 seconds. And just to show you like how wide that last turn is, it's amazing that DNA pro cycling rider at the women's race went into the fence. She was really coming in hot and just way overcooked it. But this pace is definitely picking up now. You can see that the riders are definitely stretched out, and that's what happens when you have attacks going. So what I'm going to like to see is once this gets pulled back, I'm going to watch for a move from Justin Boldy. It looks like Travis McCabe is kind of sitting up right now. And we'll see. Legion may be okay with letting this Best Buddies rider get a few seconds to kind of discourage other breakaway attempts from making a move. But this Best Buddies, yeah, he's sitting up for sure. He did not want to do this solo. So we're going to come back and reset, and let's watch for the counterattack right now. Aaron says it looks like Corey. Luke says it looks like it was Corey and Eric Young grabbing at each other. Oh, okay. I always forget if Corey or Justin has the camera on their head. I guess that would be Corey because he's not in the leader's jersey. Justin would be in the leader's jersey. So I'll have to pick him out from the crowd. Because he should be in a slightly different jersey than his normal Legion colors. So once we get down to the ground level, I'll see if I can pick him out for you guys so you can see who Justin Williams is so you can watch out for him. Aaron is saying Corey Justin has the Red Bull helmet. Okay. Good to know. Thanks for correcting me. Dale says hoping for a breakaway with JB, to be honest. I agree. That would be awesome. That'd be awesome to see. And I think he's kind of letting this race play out a little bit. Save his energy. Last night looked like he was a little bit antsy, so hopefully he just bides his time, lets for everyone to get, tired out a little bit and maybe make something happen, 25 to 50% through this race. So it looks like we have a 3-man move now. Let's see if this, yep, so the third guy is, I'm hoping this, looks like this third guy is able to close this gap as they come through 12 minutes into this 80-minute race. And it looks like this gap is very, very shallow. It's only about 4 seconds as the field comes through. And it looks like a forgetting who that team is in the teal color. I've definitely, one of my buddies that I used to work with is on that team. They're based out of Wisconsin. And it looks like Travis McCabe is trying to make a move up to this, and it really seems like he wants to get a breakaway established, and I think that's his game plan for today's race. He doesn't want to sprint against Justin Williams, and I don't really blame him. And what he would really like is to get a couple extra riders padding between him and Justin Williams so he can make up that Omnium points gap. So if he gets it through a breakaway, if he wins from a breakaway, you're gonna have, if he wins from here, you'll have 3 guys that take away points from Legion. But it looks like Legion is putting a bunch of guys on the front right now and kind of just ramping up their pace as they always do. But this is really what they need to do. They need to put the pressure on and make them do work early on. And it can't just be from Travis McCabe alone. It's got to be from multiple teams. As you see here, they've just about pulled this back. They've put their workhorses on the front and just gradually ramped up the pace. Brian Kelly, Project Echelon. Yep, that's the name. Thanks. Appreciate that. Project Echelon is definitely the team I was thinking of. Shout out to Bill. Bill, what's up, dude? Shout out to Khalid McMillan. He asked, does McCabe have a team there? Yep, he's on Best Buddies. So they have a couple teammates. And a couple good teammates. They have Michael Hernandez, who was a U23 crit national champion. National champion. Daniel Estaves, who finished 3rd. So, their game plan may be to set up Daniel for the Omnium. So Travis may just be a workhorse at this point since he finished 7th yesterday. And they had Daniel finish 3rd. So Travis may just be going to try to take points away from that top couple spots. Get the major points out off the table. Dale says, the weird thing is Best Buddies has the power, but I don't see any of the riders. Yep, that is very true. There's a couple right here in the front. 1, 2 I saw. But they definitely have, it looks like they have another group that was a little bit further back. But yeah, they definitely I'd like to see them move up a little bit more and kind of help out and try to get that break established if that's their goal. Welcome to everyone who's joining. We just hit 100 viewers, so that's awesome, guys. We had a awesome show out last night. We had like 200 people at one point on the stream, so thanks so much for joining. And I'm giving the people what they want. They want the stream. We're here again for day 2 of the Tulsa Tough Omnium. Get the light on. Actually, the light on in here so I'm not sitting in the dark. Bill said, hey, what's up from Boston? What's up? Streaming to you from Fort Myers, Florida. Shout out to Miguel. JW says, is that Chris Froome in a breakaway? David says, thanks for doing this. No problem, dude. Thanks for joining me. So again, we have Legion controlling the race on the front with 5 guys. And we are needing to refresh. So sorry about that little. Let's see if I can bump this up. Make sure we're on the highest quality possible. Looks like we have another Best Buddies rider trying to make a move. And this does look like Michael Hernandez based on his pedaling style. Yep, and that's what I'm hearing over the race radio. This guy is strong, and he knows how to win on a breakaway. So watch out for this guy. He's any race I've done with him, he's like lapping the field solo. Like in Florida, he's a beast. He is a beast. But again, against these guys, this is like even teammates. But one of him versus 5 Legion, not going to work out. It looks like he's just about to be pulled back, and he's kind of sitting up. So it kind of seems like everyone's kind of just content with having Legion ride tempo for this whole race. As we're just about approaching 1 hour to go, we have a Texas Roadhouse rider. See, I mean, this guy's just attacking now. Why didn't he bridge up to Michael Hernandez? Get both of those guys going. I mean, all these solo riders, you're not going to be able to ride solo for an hour. It's just not going to happen. You're not going to beat this field. This course is too fast. Now, again, they may just be trying to get some camera time and have me talk about them, which is possible. So that's always something to consider. But we didn't really have any Texas Roadhouse in the top 15 or so. The best finish at Texas Roadhouse yesterday was Aaron Beebe in 21st, and he picked up 5 Omnium points. So we have a couple other riders making a move that I just missed. Let's see in a second. So we have Justin Boldy. That's what I thought that was. Trying to make his move now, but it looks like now he's sitting up. No, he's still pushing on the pedals. But he's definitely looking back, so I don't think he's feeling 100% about this move. He's seeing if anyone else is coming with him. But he's definitely looking back to see if anyone else is going to bridge up to him. And he definitely wants a couple extra riders with him. But let's see if anyone else... Doesn't look like anyone else is getting set up to make a move here, unfortunately. And it looks like this is just about over. So they have about a 2-second gap, if that. He's looked back about 7 times now. 8 times. 9 times. Yep, he's saying, let's sit up. But good to see him back out there making a move now. He's still pushing on the pedals. I don't think he wants this move to be over right now. Oh, he's doing... Nope, now he's soft pedaling. Okay, so he's going to sit up through this turn. Shout out to Matthew. Hello from Trinidad and Tobago. What's up? Shout out to Rulo. Who says, Saludos desde Argentina. I'm assuming you're saying you're from Argentina. What's up? Thanks for tuning in. Bill says Michael Hernandez is the East Coast beast. Yep, for sure. Bill says Williams Brothers are the West Coast monster. Luke says solo cause YOLO. Yeah, I mean, some of these riders are just trying to get camera time, honestly. They don't want to do anything. They're not really committed to this move. But sometimes you just want to get out, get some camera time for your team, and get caught and sit back up. But again, here we have Legion riding tempo on the front. I mean, these guys are definitely strong riders. Each, probably them individually could all be breakaway riders and win a race like this. But this is their game plan. So Octavia says they're not cool with Legion controlling because they have so many guys, it's hard to overtake them. Yeah, I agreed. If you just have 1 or 2 riders making a move, it's very hard for you to beat 5. It's just simple math. So if people are serious about a breakaway, you need to get, when someone goes, you have to go. Like, this is a strong rider in best buddies, so Justin should be jumping with him. Some of those other guys, Texas Roadhouse, should be jumping with him if that's their game plan. You know, but it really seems like nobody's on the same page right now. Octavia says, where is Elevate? Because they have enough firepower to split the group. I don't know about that, but their rider, Eric Young, is one of the best sprinters in the country. So really, they're probably just keeping him safe. He's not a breakaway rider, and he's going to need a lead out. So really, Elevate's job is to just set up Eric Young for the sprint. So they really want it to come down to a field sprint. So until that point, they can just sit in, let Legion do all the work. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This guy in the blue looks like Audi he's attacked multiple times now. That Best Buddies rider is attacked multiple times, and Justin is also attacked multiple times. So these guys are all committed. I believe. I believe they want a breakaway. And it looks like they're working together well, but it also looks like Legion understands the threat of this and doesn't want to give them any space. But it looks like this Audi guy is hurting a little bit. Yeah, so Legion pulled this back, but that was a couple strong riders. Now, what I'd like to see is another rider, Hernandez maybe, counterattack this move. So Justin is not really happy about this makeup of this break. I can just kind of tell by his body language. He was really hoping that Best Buddies rider came with him, but looks like Legion did not want to let that Best Buddies rider go. Okay, we have Travis McCabe kind of bridging up here. So it really, yep, and then we have Corey right on his wheel. So it looks like they're really, Legion is really marking any Best Buddies rider. Any Best Buddies rider that's trying to get away, they're marking them completely. Because before Travis made a move, nobody was really following Justin and these other four guys. They don't have any points in the Omnium, so they're not really a threat. But as soon as Travis made a move, Corey was right on that. And I'm trying to pick out where Justin Williams is because I haven't officially seen him yet. I don't know if he's in a leader's jersey or not. JW says constant attacking will hurt Legion's train, might open the race up. Yeah, I mean, they have to do something because just letting them ride their tempo and lead it out for the last 5 laps, they're going to win 8 times out of 10, in my opinion. So you really have to do something else. You have to start withering down their guys. You have to at least knock out 2 of their guys. Make them do enough work where they can't hold 33 at the end. You know, you got to start knocking them down. And the really only way to do that is force them to pull back brakes. Obviously, that takes a lot of coordination between multiple teams to make something happen. JW said it looks like Justin wasn't in a leader's jersey during the call-up, and I haven't seen him yet. Okay, good to know. So he's probably in his normal jersey color, which is probably that dark grayish color. Blue, dark gray blue. So I'd like to see if it looks like Legion's given this group a little space. But now we have a best buddies that are trying to bridge up to this, so I guarantee they're going to be right on his wheel. Yep. So they are marking best buddies 100%. Anytime one of those green jerseys makes a move, they're on it. But it, let's see, 1,000, 2, 1,000. So they have about 2.5 second gap right now. But they're really picking up the pace. You can see it's very strung out right now. So again, anything with that green best buddies is marked completely and it needs to be pulled back. So what I'd like to see now is a slingshot move from someone behind. Maybe Justin, maybe a different rider. Again, kind of hard to do through that turn, but and we have everything back together again and reset. So very controlled race by Legion. Yep, so okay, here we go. So we have a 1-2 by Best Buddies. This is probably what they're doing. So my guess is they're taking 2 of their guys. Probably, well, Travis McCabe is one of them. Michael Hernandez, I'd like to see him be more active up here. But my guess is they're trying to keep their rider Daniel Estevez safe. Someone can clarify for me if that guy with the beard is Estevez. I don't think that would be him since he got finished 3rd in that sprint. My guess is they're trying to just put the pressure on with the Best Buddies teammates, try to get one of their guys in a break, make Legion do a lot of work, and keep Daniel Estevez safe for the sprint. Keep him rested. And hopefully they can start knocking some of Legion's train down. But I'd really like to see Michael Hernandez be more active up here. So once this gets pulled back, I'd like to see Hernandez do a counterattack move then. And he looks like he's right up there, right behind the train. So he might be getting set up for this. So this is really what you got to see. You got to see go, pull it back, go, pull it back. And just start wearing down Legion. That's your only chance. Shout out to Rulo. He says very aggressive race. Not. I mean, we had that little. I don't want to call it a fight, but something between Corey and it looked like Eric Young earlier on. So that was definitely a little bit aggressive. But it doesn't. There's some attacking, but until recently, the last couple laps have been more good for attacks. The first 30 minutes of this race were kind of just camera attacks. So we have some splits in the field, it looked like. Again, Corey is right on the front, just marking this completely. Shout out to Josh Richards. What's up, dude? Michael Hernandez with the counterattack. Like I was saying, I'd like to see him do that. Here we go. making a move. I wish one other person came with him, or two. Oh, some guy going, but taking a drink. Come on, man. Looks like he's not. Yeah, he's soft pedaling now. Yeah, so unfortunately, you really need a couple guys to start hurting Legion. You can't just do it 1v1 because just not enough horsepower. Looks like we have another move making up on the right-hand side of the road. A decent gap. Let's see if he can bridge up to Michael Hernandez. He's flying right now. So, wow, he bridged that gap very, very quickly. So let's see if this can make something happen right here. So this guy in the red definitely blew a match, bridging up to Michael Hernandez. That is not easy to do, let me tell you. Hernandez is strong. I mean, this guy Hernandez literally laps the field solo in crits like multiple times. Like he's that strong, in Cat 1 crits in Florida. So, you know, former U23 national champion. The guy is strong dude. And it looks like this just got pulled back. Let's watch the counterattack again, but this is what you got to do. Unfortunately, it's going to take a lot of effort. But, yep, here we have another rider on the left-hand side of the road. This guy's shorts are, it's like very European. Very European short length. College says no other team looks organized. Yeah, I mean, Best Buddies has been doing a good job attacking and counterattacking. They're really the team that has to put pressure on because that's Legion's biggest competitor. Elevate, they really don't have anyone except Eric Young. That's really their sprinter. I guess Sam Bassetti is good too. He got 5th yesterday. But I'd really like seeing Elevate put some of their guys into a move with Best Buddies and kind of have them work together a little bit. Those teams, Best Buddies and Elevate, need to work together a little bit and put pressure on Legion because it's really in both of their favor to start knocking down some of these Legion guys. I mean, they haven't knocked anyone off yet. So for anyone who doesn't know, this is the course map for today. It's an L-shaped course. And I believe the start-finish line is on the furthest corner the furthest left-hand straightaway. Oh no, it's on. So if you're looking at the map, it's the closest straightaway on where it says Main Street. That straightaway is where the start finish line is. Right where that. Oh, so they actually have a star. Right where that star is the start finish line. Right on Brady Street. So that's how the course looks. They take a left-hand turn onto Cincinnati Ave, take another left, and then when they take that right-hand turn is where that little hill is, and then when they take that left is where that Red Bull sign is. So that's what the course looks like for tonight. Chase says best buddies need more buddies up front. I mean, they've been attacking. There's only so much you can do. I saw Justin Boldy up front. Looks like third wheel or so. He's doing well. He's racing well. That's another team that needs to make a move. I don't believe they had anyone in the top 40 even, it looks like. Amino Rip. I did not see any Amino Rip. So they definitely need to be going for stages now. They're not going to be catching up in the Omnium. And maybe that was their goal all along, but I'd like to see them put more pressure on the front as well. So we need Amino Rip, Elevate, Best Buddies, maybe Automatic. I haven't seen really any of them making a move and putting pressure on. Oh, no. So we had Sebastian finished 37th yesterday. Okay. David says Zero Dude has the best gap yet. Yeah, it looks like it. But again, holding this pace solo is hard to do. Very hard to do. Shout out to Joe's Guitar Shop. What's up, man? He says the whole race is just full gas. There's not any spots to move up. Yeah, that's you got to pick your moments. So when it starts to slow down a little bit, you just have to move up right away. When it's very strung out, it's hard to make up any positions. Like, that's not the time to do it. But once the brake gets pulled back and everyone kind of bunches up a little bit, that's the time you have to use your momentum to go around other riders. And again, there's a ton of riders in this field. It looks like, there's a good amount that have gotten dropped because the field has definitely shrunk a little bit. But on this, so after this Red Bull banner, this left-hand turn, this is a good spot, good straightaway to move up. It's a very wide, open road. You can go out wide and make up a couple spots every lap and eventually make your way to the front. So you see a couple guys on the right-hand side just making up spots and then slotting back into the draft. Shout out to Red Rocks. It's a new name I haven't seen yet. He says, need to see more from Mike's Bikes too. Yeah, I haven't seen them at all, actually. That's a good point. I don't know if they're even in here. Let's see. I don't see them on the top 40 list. But really, we have Butcher Box needs to be up there. We need Project Echelon has been up there a couple times, but I'd like to see them a little bit more. 303 Project. uh, Texas Roadhouse, Cliff Bar. Those are all teams that should be trying to put pressure on Legion and make them pull everything back. Everything. Do not give them a single wheel. If you want to beat them, you gotta make them do all the work. Unfortunately, they're that strong. Uh-oh, looks like we had a crash. Hopefully this guy's okay. There's a lot of people around him. Does not look good. So I'm hearing this is Dante Young. So, okay, so it may just be heat exhaustion. Like I was saying earlier, there's a heat advisory right now. It's 92 degrees. And again, if you're not from Florida, you're not used to racing in 90 plus degrees for over an hour. Now, these Florida boys like Justin Boldy, oh, just a rub of wheels right there. So that guy definitely just rubbed wheels, lost concentration for just a split second, and you saw just how his handlebars twisted as clearly just a rub of wheels of the rider in front of him and just spat him out. Wow. That he went down pretty hard too. So let's see this replay. Yep, so it looks like he was just overlapping wheels and a guy got pushed out a little bit and just took out his front wheel. And when that happens, there's really nothing you can do. He went down really hard on his shoulder. Ouch. Yeah. He went down real hard. I'm sure he's got the wind knocked out of him because he didn't even see that coming. I've had that happen to me before when you're overlapping wheels, but you're in a safe spot, and then all of a sudden someone gets pushed and just comes over way too quick, or you can't even react, and just takes out your front wheel. It's happened to me before, and it's not fun because there's nothing you really did particularly wrong, but still just you can't overlap wheels at all. So it's unfortunate, but so far it's been a clean race. We haven't seen too many crashes. Yesterday I didn't see any on the camera, but it may have happened after the camera cut out, but there was definitely a crash that I saw on one video. So hopefully the rest of this race can be pretty clean. We are just crossing over the 50-minute mark, so we have 30 minutes left to go in this race. Yep, everyone's saying ouch. Yeah, that one looked painful. So now what happens is anyone who is behind that crash is going to get a free lap. So all these riders who got caught up behind that crash, since it's early enough in the race, they're all going to get a free lap. So they all go to the pit, and once they're at the back of this race, they're going to let all these guys go. They're going to speed up, and then they're going to slot back in. So, that's one thing to mention for anyone who's just about to do their first race. I know there's at least one guy, Mr. John, about to do his first race. If you get caught behind a crash, even if you don't crash, if you have to put your foot down, you get a free lap. So go to the pit, make sure the motorcycle guy behind you sees you. He'll write down your number and let them know that you're coming to the pit, and you'll get a free lap, and you'll get to slot back in the next lap, even if you don't crash. Or if you do crash, you get a free lap. Or if you get a mechanical, that happens until a certain point in the race. So every race is different. Usually it's like 5, or depending on how quick, it's usually like the last 10 minutes, there's no more free laps. So before the race starts, they'll say free laps are over with 10 to go or 5 to go. And then if you have that many laps left and you have a mechanical or you get caught behind a crash, then you need to chase at that point. So it's happened to me before where I've gotten caught behind a crash right after the start finish line, and free laps are over at that point. Even though you're just crossed, like it was 5, free laps are over with 5 to go, and we just crossed with 4 to go. And at that point, I had to chase. So know the rules of crits, because that'll definitely save you if you get caught behind a crash. So Joe's Guitar Shop says, is Eric Marcotte or Marcotte, I don't even know how you pronounce it, on Best Buddies? Oh no, John says he has his first solo crash today. Oh, sorry about that, dude. Hopefully nothing too bad. Joe's Guitar Shop says, so let's look up, let me see if I can pull up the teams. So here we go. Here's the teams for Best Buddies, or the riders for Best Buddies. I do see Eric on the 2021 roster. So we have McCabe, Wolf, Estavez, Hernandez, and Companiani on the Best Buddies roster. Looks like I have 2 guys on this Audi team. And actually, in the 1-2 race earlier today, there was actually I believe an 8-man breakaway, and one team had 3 riders in there, and somehow they only got out of that with a 3rd place finish. So not unprecedented for this course, but I believe this will be pulled back. And then we have this rider on red who's attacked before. Looks like he's about to make a counter move on the outside. Oh, yeah, that was a tight corner to come on the outside. I'd like to see him move on the inside, but he probably got caught up. But he definitely wanted to make a counter attack right there and kind of get on that move, but doesn't look like he was definitely boxed in a little bit. So it looks like this rider has gotten up. It's definitely hot out there. Good to see he's doing all right. So Kyle said, who's that organizing behind Legion? And it, to me, looks like, we'll see in a second. The green team is Best Buddies. Behind Legion looks like 303 project. Could be wrong. Anyone who knows, what's that Audi team that just had 2 riders in the breakaway? Let me know. Shout out to Diego. He says, shout out to Christian Rivelo on CS Velo. Shout out to Christian. All right, here we go. We have this red guy. Anyone who knows what team this is. Oh, it looks like Butcher Box. Okay. So they have definitely... He's attacked a couple times. But then it looks like Legion still has 4 riders up front. We have a Cliff Bar rider about to come out of the pit. Butcher Box is off the front. Luke says Elevate is behind Legion. Okay, so Elevate must be that team in the black and blue with the blue banner across their chest. So they are on the team with Eric Young. And if we go to... So it looks like we are just about at 10 laps to go. And the lead out trains are definitely getting situated, which is why we have Elevate. Looks like Texas Roadhouse has a flat tire. Hopefully he can get a free lap, get a wheel change and get a free lap. And it also looked like he was on a mismatched wheel, so I wonder if this is not his first flat of the day. Dale says Audi Primal Denver. Yeah, I think that's more accurate because they do have the Audi on the sleeve. Red is Butcher Box. The black with the light sky blue banner is Audi Primal Denver. And the green is Best Buddies. Nine laps to go. Legion still has all of their riders at the front, so they're about to control this pace for the rest time. This is going to come down to a field sprint. And I believe Justin Williams is going to win this again. Let me know your predictions in the chat feed. Best Buddies is making one more move to try to put the pressure on Legion. It's going to be hard to do solo, but let's see if he... So this is Eric Marcotte. If he can... Ideally, he'd want a couple more guys to come with him just to put the pressure on, but... So it looks like this is the downhill section. He's trying to get a little bit aero. But it looks like he's kind of sitting up at this point. Shout out to Magnus. He says it's KHS. I guess we don't really know who it is. Everyone Everyone has. Oh, Magnus says Audi is KHS. Okay. Yeah, so I'm just hearing over the feed that the black with the blue banner is Elevate. Okay, that makes sense too. So we have Legion and then Elevate, and then in the green right behind them is Best Buddies. Behind them we have Butcher Box, Cliff Bar, and a couple other straggling teams. Automatic is moving up in the orange, trying to take the inside. Looks like he's trying to make a last minute breakaway attempt. Let's see if he can come around this corner. Looks like he's just trying to move up into the Legion train. So we have Justin Williams right there in the Red Bull helmet. You can see him very well right behind Corey with the GoPro on his head. Brian Kelly says, I've never seen a team just sit on the front like this. Yeah, I mean, that's what they trained for, is just have 5 guys just be FTP monsters that are just able to hold 400 watts for an hour. And then they just rotate. Whole race. And then, come in, they're just going to ramp it up. So with starting with like 5 to go, one guy's going to go full gas for a lap. He's going to peel off. Next guy's going to go full gas for a lap, peel off. Until they have a couple guys left for that last lead out. And it looks like there's, this is what they got to do, is put pressure on them these last couple laps. Make sure they just can't control it the whole time. Brian says the last 3 laps are going to be crazy. We'll see. John is agreeing with me that these teams need to do something else. Because Legion is just going to control everything these last 5 laps. Yep. But right now they're just giving them a draft. So if they're going to do something, they got to go and just let them do the work. Matthew Williams says that train is a fortress. It seems like they're unbeatable. They can't drop any of their guys. Aaron J says preem lap. I don't know. I haven't heard any preems being called out. So it looks like they're giving this guy a little bit of space, but they're confident that they can pull this back very easily in these next 6 laps. So again, guys, leave your predictions for a winner in the chat. We all need to have our prediction in writing so we can talk smack later. So Legion is coming through. And I believe I just saw Justin Boldy coming up on the caboose of this train. I'd really like to see him make one final move with like 1 lap to go, just a flyer, and just hold 600 watts for a minute plus. I'd really like to see that of him, but we'll see what happens. Yep, that's him right there, number 20. I'm not sure why he's that far back. He really should be. I don't know. Yeah, see, Legion is starting to pick it up right now. So with 5 to go, they start amping up the pace. And it gets very, very hard for any attacks to go at this point. That's part of their strategy is... Because, you know, if they're going 30, 31, you now have to attack at 32, 33 to get any space. And that's hard to do. And especially if you have to hold that, it's hard. It's very hard. So this is definitely coming down to a field sprint. John's calling Corey. Khaled's calling Corey. Octavia's calling Corey. Or she says Corey, then Justin 1-2, and fourth another Legion guy, third someone from Elevate. Wow, very specific. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Ruben says hope Dante is okay. Luke retracted his message, so he's changing his mind. Dale says I'm going JB for the surprise W. That would be amazing. I'd probably go crazy if that happened. Red Rock says he was in the wheelhouse. Luke's calling Tom Gibbons. Okay. So automatic racing. Thomas Gibbons finished 8th yesterday. Luke's calling Tom Gibbons for the win. We'll see what happens. I'm calling Justin. Here's my podium. I'm calling Justin Williams first, Eric Young second, Daniel Estaves third. And they are flying down this downhill section. That is very, very quick. John Roth says, don't forget they also close down the corner line so they make it passing 5 guys on a straight at 30 plus, and then they communicate attacks. You can't surprise them. Luke says, I want to believe. Aaron is also calling Justin Williams. All right, so 3 laps to go. Actually, like 2.5. Coming up the uphill section. And that left-hand banner into this tighter road under the Red Bull banner. Legion looks very controlled. But we also have Travis McCabe. Could be a wild card to throw in here. He's right behind the Legion train. So we're bringing it in for 2 laps to go. Almost there. Looks like Thomas Gibbons is moving up in that orange on the left-hand side of the road. This whole back half of the race is very stretched out. Those guys are just trying to make it to the finish at this point. So really your winner is going to come out of about between 6 back and 10 right now. So those top 15 is your winning rider is going to be in there at this point. So around where those green jerseys are, that's where your winners are going to be. Anywhere from there up. Oh, we have a crash going into this corner. This is a tight corner. Someone just went too far out, pushed someone wide. It looks like a Mino rip. So, unfortunately, these guys' race is over. They're just gonna roll it in solo now. It looks like, yeah. So we couldn't really see exactly what happened, but I think that made a split in the field. So yeah, so that's what I was saying. Like that top 15 spot, that's where the winner's coming from because, too far back at this point. So we're 1 lap to go. This is the last lap coming in here. Legion's got 3 lead out guys still. Even 4 if Corey's their tier 2 guy. So, I mean, that is a lot of guys to have for this last lap. So this guy's just going to go full gas. Yep, he's pulling off right now. And now this guy's just going to go full gas for this last half lap. He's going to try to make it to halfway through that downhill section. And then this last guy, oh my gosh, they are making a gap open up. It looks like Justin Williams just let the gap go. Oh my, they're going to let them go 3. Wow. So that's what they just did. Justin Williams just let the gap open up and just gave them a free ride up front. Kind of a dirty move, but that's kind of the risk you have to take. And now everyone is forced to close this down, and Corey's going to win this basically solo, and they're going to go 1, 2, 3. They're going to go, they're going to sweep the podium. Oh my gosh. This guy's, wow. And he ended up picking 4th. Did Williams end up picking 4th? So they go 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my gosh. Wow. That was kind of a dirty move by Justin Williams, but also smart. Like, just let the wheel go. He opened up a second gap, just 1 second, and now everyone else is forced to shut it down. And they're just content on holding that wheel. Man, that's the risk you take sometimes. So now Justin Williams, I believe, took 4th as well. So they win 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have Thomas Gibbons, it looks like, in 5th, potentially 6th. Wow. Insane. But that was actually a good call by Luke for Thomas Gibbons for 5th. I mean, it was the first non-Legion. So, wow. To go 1, 2, 3, 4, that was insane. Oh, man. Look at that. They just opened up 3 bike length gap, and now you're forcing Best Buddies to shut it down. Justin Williams gets a free ride regardless and is able to now force Best Buddies to lead him out because they are forced to shut down the gap. Man. Smart racing nonetheless. And he did it at a prime moment too. So he did it right before that last turn. So they can't really come around him easily through that turn. So they have to wait until that turn is completed until they can start to close that gap. And at that point, they already have a second or 2 seconds, a 3 bike length gap. And coming down that hill when you're maxing out your gear, you're in your 5311, going full gas, you're probably going 35 plus down that hill. So there's not really much you can do when you're spinning out your gear completely. So crazy. It's very crazy. So insane racing. So let's revisit the chat. John called, yeah, anyone who called Corey, you were right. Awesome job. Let's see. Shout out to Mike Golay. Let's see. Oops. Let's refresh this really quick. Luke says, oh my God. John called it with Corey. David Alexander says, never seen anything like that. Happens. Joe's Guitar Shop, unreal. John says they do it all the time. Octavia says beautiful execution of their plan. College says, again, great stream and chat. Thanks, dude. Appreciate you. Appreciate everyone that's stuck around, hung out for a couple hours. And I mean, we've had over 100 people for the last hour. So I think it's only fair if I do this again tomorrow. So everyone be ready to come back and we can stream it again tomorrow for I believe it's Crybaby Hill tomorrow. So that may be interesting. Brian Kelly says it won't be the same tomorrow, not with the hill. Yeah, I mean that's what we have to watch. Yeah, Williams isn't great at climbing, so hopefully we can get a breakaway going, and that will be interesting move. But they have a good lead now. They have a good lead now on the Omnium. David says thanks for the stream. Yeah, thanks, dude. Hanging out. Matt says this is a great stream. Rulo, excellent transmission. Red Rocks, nice commentary. Thanks, everyone. Zip 2001, expect the unexpected. It's like that one meme. Octavia says that's what these teams get for long leads and to control the race like that. It's not without trying. They put a lot of pressure on them, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. Shout out to Benjamin. He says, I think lead is a strong word. If anyone could stop them controlling the race, they would. Yeah, that's true. I mean, they threw everything they could at them and unfortunately wasn't able to do anything. Shout out to Vex25. He said, wasn't a dirty move at all. That's called tactics, and they are the best at executing them right now. Yeah. Jeffrey McMillan says, where's Euro Dude? Don't know. Aaron J says, great stream again, man. Thanks everyone for sticking around. That's awesome. Appreciate it. Awesome. So we're gonna pull this. We're gonna keep. Well, we'll talk through the award ceremony, and then if anyone has any final chats they want to send in, let me know, and we can discuss it. So we'll probably be wrapping this up in the next 15 minutes here, I assume. If they don't do the awards quick, I'll probably end this. Thanks again, everyone, for joining. So let's see if they have. Yep, so they don't have the results yet. So Legion won first and second in the women's pro race. They went 1 through 4 in the men's. Absolutely crushing it. They went 1 and 2 in the men's yesterday. They went 1 and 3 in the women's yesterday. They are the absolute team to beat for the final day on Crybaby Hill. And I think hopefully that course will be more selective and we can actually get some new tactics and new teams up represented on that podium. I'm trying to turn this music down. There we go. Octavia says, when I say sweeping, I'm speaking men and women. Dale says, beef is just beginning. It's a whole season. Yep, they have a long way to go. And so far, Justin Williams, to me, seems like the rightful American Stars and Stripes jersey wearer. At least, you know, them racing 1v1. So it looks like this is going to take a little bit. So we're going to end this stream. Thanks so much for everyone who has joined. And we will see you again tomorrow. Let's see what time the race is tomorrow. Not seeing where the time is. Let's see. Well, I'll post it and, just follow up on the channel tomorrow at some point. And it's whatever time the pro women and pro men are. That's what I'll stream for again. So thanks so much for everyone who joined. Let's go through those final comments and then we will call it a night. Octavia says, well, Dale, so far Legion is killing beginning of season and they're only going to get stronger during the season. We'll see what happens. I mean, they've definitely recruited a great team. So Dale says, I'm just here for the rivalry. All right. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in, and we will talk to you tomorrow.